It's easy to look at history and see the triumphs, those glorious moments when everything came together, when justice prevailed, and when the heroes we admire stood tall in victory. But what we often forget is the struggle that came before that victory, the adversity they had to overcome. Harriet Tubman didn't become a legendary figure in the fight for freedom by living an easy life. She escaped from slavery and then risked her life time and time again, leading hundreds of others to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Every step she took was filled with danger, fear, and uncertainty. But she kept going, not because she was fearless, but because her courage was stronger than her fear. That's the lesson of courage. It's not about the absence of fear, but about moving forward in spite of it. Every chosen one in history, the ones who changed the world, who made a lasting impact, faced incredible adversity. But they didn't let those challenges define them. Instead, they rose above, showing us all what true courage looks like. Susan B. Anthony is another powerful example. Her fight for women's rights, particularly the right to vote, wasn't easy. She was arrested, ridiculed, and constantly told that what she was doing was impossible. But she didn't give up. She didn't back down. Susan knew the path ahead was difficult, but she believed in the cause, and that belief fueled her courage. She once said, "Failure is impossible," and she lived those words every day. You see, courage isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop, something that grows stronger each time you face a challenge and choose to keep going. Think about your own life for a moment. What are the things that scare you? What challenges make you want to turn around and walk away? We all have them. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: courage. Courage is what allows you to stand up after you've been knocked down. It's what keeps you going when everything inside you is screaming to stop. And just like Harriet Tubman, Susan B. Anthony, and countless others, you have that courage inside you. The question is, are you willing to tap into it? Let's take a moment to consider what courage really looks like. It's not always the grand, heroic moments that get written about in history books. Sometimes courage is quieter, more personal. It's the single mother working 2 jobs to provide for her children. It's the young person standing up to a bully at school. It's the person battling an illness, refusing to let it steal their hope. These are the everyday acts of courage that shape our world, even if they don't always make the headlines. Think about Harriet Tubman again. She could have escaped slavery and lived a quiet, free life, but she chose to risk everything to help others gain their freedom. Why? Because she knew that her courage had the power to change lives. She knew that if she didn't act, countless others would remain in chains. Her story teaches us that courage isn't just about personal strength. It's about the willingness to use that strength to help others. That's what the chosen ones throughout history have always done. They didn't just overcome adversity for their own sake. They did it for others. Susan B. Anthony didn't fight for women's suffrage because it was easy. She did it because she believed in equality and a better future for all women. And because of her courage, millions of women gained the right to vote, changing the course of history forever. Now, I want you to think about the challenges you're facing in your own life. Maybe it's something personal, a struggle that no one else sees. Maybe it's a fear that's holding you back from reaching your full potential. Whatever it is, know this: you have the courage to overcome it. Just like the chosen ones before you, the strength you need is already inside you. You just have to trust it. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by adversity, to feel like the odds are stacked against you. But the truth is, adversity is what shapes us. It's what forces us to grow, to dig deeper, to find strength we didn't know we had. The chosen ones didn't become great because they had easy lives. They became great because they faced adversity with courage. Think about how many times in your life you faced a difficult situation and thought, "I can't do this." But you did. You found a way. You pushed through. And each time you did, you got a little stronger, a little braver. That's how courage works. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Take, for example, someone like Malala Yousafzai. She was just a young girl when she was shot by the Taliban for speaking out about girls' education. Most people would have been terrified into silence. But not Malala. She used that terrifying moment to fuel her fight for education rights around the world. Her courage didn't just come out of nowhere. It was something she had been building for years. Each time she stood up for what she believed in, even when it was dangerous. That's the thing about courage, it builds on itself. Every time you face a challenge, every time you push through fear, you're building the foundation for even greater acts of bravery. The chosen ones didn't start out as fearless heroes. They became heroes because they faced their fears head-on and refused to back down. Now you might be thinking, but I'm not Harriet Tubman or Susan B. Anthony or Malala Yousafzai. And you're right, you're not. You're you. And that's exactly why your courage matters. No one else can face the challenges that are in front of you. No one else can live your life, but you can look to the chosen ones for inspiration, for proof that no matter how difficult things get, there's always a way forward. Courage is contagious. When we see others face adversity with bravery, it inspires us to do the same. That's why Harriet Tubman's story still resonates today. That's why Susan B. Anthony's legacy lives on. They remind us that even in the darkest times, courage can light the way. So what's stopping you from embracing your courage today? What's holding you back from facing that challenge, from taking that risk, from pursuing that dream? You have everything you need inside you. You have the strength, the resilience, and most importantly, the courage to overcome whatever comes your way. Remember, the chosen ones weren't extraordinary because of what they did. They were extraordinary because they chose to act, even when they were afraid. And you can make that choice too. Courage isn't just for the history books. It's for you right now in this moment. It's in every decision you make to keep going, to keep believing, to keep fighting for what's right. And just like Harriet, Susan, and Malala, your courage has the power to change the world, starting with your own.